and the environment. How could you not talk about it? And I don't think it's anti-military to talk about it. That's ridiculous. It's 9:32. Let's head into the KUAM News Zoom room. Major Antone Aguon standing by. Major, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Chris.
How are you?
I'm doing great.
What kind of update you got? Let's just start the first thing. I know I'd asked the last time you were on, there was a policy from the director that we weren't going to be confining nonviolent offenders. That we're only confining violent offenders and family violence, I think. Has that policy changed yet, Major?
No, sir. The policy in regards to confining violent offense is still in play.
What kind of has there been like any conversation with the DOC leadership on reversing this policy?
I mean, we did talk about it, Chris, and again, we're still trying to be very cautious, right, with how many people are coming into the prison. Although we do have the COVID testing that we can do for those that weren't tested prior to coming to DOC. Our population still has not been vaccinated, and we're trying to minimize the contacts. Space is limited, and we just want to save the bed space for the more violent offenders. I can tell you that based on our the report from the Aganya for the month of April, we haven't turned anybody away. We keep track of who we're turning away, but for the month of April, we haven't turned anyone away. Some of the ones in the past, of course, were public drunkenness, disorderly conduct. Those were turned away. Theft of property. When I say turned away, I mean they were booked and released at the GPD level instead of being booked and confined. So they were still charged, but they were charged via the notice to appear citation, issued a citation notice to appear.
Have you had any complaints from any of the officers yet, GPD? Saying, hey, we're calling these guys. Go ahead.
No, I personally have not received any calls. I do believe our management, the deputy director, they may have received a call or two about complaining about us not accepting the non-violent offenders. Yeah.
So Deputy Robert Camacho?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And what was the nature of the calls that he received? Are you able to share with us?
No, I'm not really. I haven't really discussed it with him, but I do know there were, whenever the, like for example, criminal trespass, resisting arrest, we didn't accept it. So some officers, of course, were upset. I believe they called the deputy about it, and again, that was an offense that could be handled through a notice to appear. Again, we are taking all the family violence and the warrants. Of course, there's quite a few warrants. We've had a few that are public drunkenness, but they had a warrant also attached to that. So we confined them. That person will be confined. And more than not, they'll actually be released later that day once the court processes them.
What's the status on visitation?
Well, Chris, we're still, as you know, we were hoping to get the vaccine going, started last week, but with the pause of the Johnson & Johnson, no one has been vaccinated yet, but I spoke to the head nurse this morning, and we're just waiting from guidance from public health. We understand now that the CDC has lifted the pause on the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. So again, is that still the one they're going to use from us? I'm not sure yet, but logistically, that'll probably be the best one to use. And we're just going to sit back, wait for guidance from public health, and hopefully in the next few weeks, we can start getting vaccinated.
You sent over some. Go ahead.
We still have incoming that's ongoing. So that process is still ongoing. I think this week we had about 200 people drop off some incoming.
We're popping up those pictures, Major. So you were able to stand up the incoming. When did that start again, Major?
Well, we do it every month, and for the last 7 days, it's been ongoing. In fact, even today, and for the last 7 days, we had about 230 families drop off incoming for the different housing units. I sent you some pictures yesterday of some of the how the process is going. So at least we still have that for now.
Nice. Major, let me ask, so in standing up this new incoming process, are we compromising at all the ability of the officers to inspect the packages that are coming in for any type of contraband?
No, sir. As you can see on one of the pictures, they have a system set up when the family members drive up. Of course, the officers are wearing masks. They take the bag from them. They inspect it to make sure all the items are there. We do even a double inspection again before it's even delivered to the housing units, and that includes like deodorant. We did find, for example, in Agana, one of the families tried to smuggle contraband into one of the deodorants. They put tobacco and stuff in the deodorant. So our officers are aware of that, and we are searching it. Several searches actually. Even when it goes to the unit, the items are searched again by the officers in the unit.
Wow.
And so we're doing the best we can to minimize the introduction of contraband.
Wow. So with the deodorant, what do they do? They like push out? Is this the stick deodorant?
Yes, they take out the stick all the way, put contraband underneath it, roll it back in, and try to send it in. But we've already we've caught, not this time, but even in the past, we've caught people trying that several times.
Were you guys kind of like going around saying, "Man, you guys, why is your fafa stinky when you're getting so much deodorant?" Oh, okay, let's start checking the deodorant.
No, it's just, again, they're trying to smuggle it in. The families, the families have the product in their in their custody, and of course they make several attempts to find ways to use those things to hide contraband. It's nothing new.
Right. What are some of the other methods, Major?
They even put it in their clothes, the seams of the pants. Like the pair of jeans or something. They'll put it in the seams of the pants. They'll undo the seam and put contraband ice usually or something inside, and then sew it back up. They put it in the soles of their shoes. They hide it in the different products that are coming in. They try to disguise it. But again, we just have to keep doing our due diligence to search for it every time.
What about contraband coming in over the fence, Major?
We did have something a couple of days ago. They threw over a peanut butter jar over the perimeter. It had some Copenhagen and some lighters and I think possible ice inside. Again, we got it and we turned it over to GPD. Right. So they still make those attempts. It's every day. It's a challenge to keep this stuff out of the prison.
What about any vaccination hesitancy with the inmates? And now that we've resumed the use of Johnson & Johnson, are you guys planning on also resuming the use of the vaccine?
At this point, Chris, we're still thinking that that's the route to go. Again, we have to wait for public health to give us the final. And the reason why Johnson & Johnson for us work better is logistically. Again, right now we have about over 300 prisoners, detainees and inmates that are interested in taking the vaccine. And when we do give the vaccine, again, we have to do it unit by unit, plus we have to keep them separated. And then there's that monitoring period. So the process will be a little slow to get through a particular housing unit. Each housing unit has a different population number. But it's not undoable. It's something we can do. We're hoping that more inmates will be willing to take it when the time comes. That would just help us get better at looking at these visitation issues and perhaps moving it along a little faster once we feel a little bit more confident that we can protect the population. Again, these restrictions are designed to protect the inmates, protect the staff, and the inmate's family. As inconvenient as they may be, our intent is to prevent anyone from getting sick.
What else is going on at the prison?
We just yesterday we celebrated. We lost two of our officers. They retired, not lost, but retired. We got Major Kid Aguon is retiring, and one of our captains, Chris Donato, is also retiring. We're losing about two or three more later this year to retirement. We had a little ceremony for them, keeping my social distancing, and do what we can to show them our appreciation for all the years they put into this department. The governor was here, the lieutenant governor, to provide, give them their certificate of retirement.
Man, Major, I saw something on Facebook relative to the tragic murder of the former mayor of Umatic. And then I saw something about, I believe, does one of his kids work as a corrections officer at the prison?
Actually, two of his daughters, the Gofigan, they just started maybe coming on about a year now. They're one of our more recent hires. He has two daughters here, and yes, it's unfortunate that this event has happened, but we're praying for them, and hopefully they'll be back to work soon.
I mean, I can't even begin to think what's that like, showing up to work and having to just, because are they in the women's section of the prison? Because I know that there was a arrest, Rudy Kanata, and then Joyner Sked, right, who I assume is being housed in the women's unit.
Yeah, so prior to that incident happening, one of the officers was assigned to the Agani detention facility, and the other officer was assigned up here to the Manila facility, and to include the female unit. But since this incident, the officer in Agani has been reassigned. She's actually been on leave for a while, but she's also been reassigned, so she will not be going back to Agani because that's where Rudy's at. And they will not enter the female unit. Of course, we have protocol in place to address situations like this, to prevent from putting the officers in any kind of position where something may ignite between the defendant, the detainee, and the officer.
Tell us a little more about that protocol, because I'm sure that Guam, being the small community it is, we're all intertwined. I'm pretty sure this has happened before, where you have a corrections officer who might be related to a victim of a crime, or might even be related to a person who's being held on charges coming into the facility.
Yes, it's not uncommon. It's happened before. I personally have had family members incarcerated. And we try to put up a barrier, making sure that these officers don't come in contact with their family members, or two, their people that are, if their family is a victim of the crime. In this case, their assignments will be, their assignments will be not in those areas. And of course, everyone is aware of the potential conflict. So our supervisors and managers are well aware, and so we do our best to minimize any sort of contact, and in the event they do cross paths, we ensure that, nothing, try to do our best to make sure nothing happens from that encounter. But right now, again, the two officers, the two ladies are off duty, they're on leave, and we've already got different assignments set up for them when they return back. And it will not be in the area where the female defendant is, or Mr. Kinata.
We had a comment in here. When a visitor has been caught with contraband at DLC during a search, are they arrested, booked, and detained? What's the process for that?
Yes, sir. We have arrested several in the past when the family members bring in and they're caught with it. There have been several arrested, booked, and confined and charged with it. It just depends. I mean, we do call GPD and ask for that they be arrested for this. Yes. including the inmate. If we can prove the inmate had knowledge of it, he would also be rearrested too.
Right on. Okay, Major. Anything in closing?
No, just be safe.
Anything with any officers going on?
Say again, sir.
Anything with any officers going on? Any hanky panky?
Not that I'm aware of. No. Nothing. Nothing's going on right now. I haven't heard anything. Of course, but if something does come up, we can handle it, in accordance with our policies.
Right on, Major. Appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you, Chris. See you next week.
Okay, bye. Major Antone Aguon. 9:47. Let's take a break, and then we're going to come back and do Cover Me, brought to you by Burger King. We got a special Cover Me